Kevin, SHTF Prep. Today's July 3rd, 2022.
This is Star Trek.
Yes, it's Star Trek. But I'm bringing you guys an update from a Michigan.gov press release just a few days ago. Any Michigan viewers, please comment below and let me know if you've already heard this information. I want to get your take on it, what you guys think about it. And this is out of Lansing, Michigan. Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed a package of bills supporting Michigan's agriculture economy by offering certificates of free sale from the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, MDARD. In case you don't know what the acronym stands for, MDARD, which empowers Michigan's food and agricultural businesses to export their products. Stick with me here. We're going to get to the point really soon. I know a lot of you don't have the time to spend 15 to 18 seconds to get the background, the backstory, to really, have some basis to have this conversation on. So just hang with me. The governor said, agriculture is a cornerstone of Michigan's economy, and today's package of bipartisan legislation empowers our food and agricultural businesses to expand and create more good-paying jobs. Okay, sounds like a good idea. The governor claims that these bipartisan bills will build on our efforts to support rural communities by investing in high-quality infrastructure, high-speed internet, affordable childcare, attainable housing, not affordable, but attainable housing, and regional economic development. And she, the governor, will work with anyone to get things done that put Michiganders first. Michigan, I can't say it. People in Michigan first. And the director of MDARD goes on to say, Michigan's food and agricultural businesses continue to succeed because they've embraced creativity, innovation, and sustainability. This is where it takes a turn for the worse. And he thanks Governor Whitmer for signing this bipartisan legislation to help pave the way for MDARD to better assist our $104.7 billion food and agricultural industries export of goods, increasing Michigan's global footprint. For those of you who are not aware, Gretchen Esther Whitmer is an American lawyer and politician who had been serving as the 49th governor of Michigan since 2019. She's a member of the Democratic Party, and she served in the Michigan House of Representatives from 2001 to 2006. And in the Michigan Senate from 2006 to 2015. Born and raised in Michigan. And what's most important here is that besides, best efforts to try to bring jobs and high-speed internet and attainable housing to the rural areas of Michigan, the goal here is to capitalize for MDARD in assisting farmers, potentially, to better access to revenues through this $104 billion food and agricultural industry export of goods. Now, before I get on to that export of goods and increasing Michigan's global footprint, Michigan stands to make tons of money through tax dollars as a result of this. So yes, they do want to see an increase in agricultural revenues. But the biggest problem that I have with this is that at the end of the day, we're exporting. The goal is to export these foods out of the country.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying much attention to it. I was reading my comments on my channel until I kept hearing the word export, export, export. And then, you're saying taxpayer or tax money and then export in the same sentence. And that bothers me because we need food here If we can grow the food here, we should be shipping the food to other states, to cities within our states, to the people of our country, as opposed to exporting everything.
It's no doubt that we have a potential food crisis looming in the United States. Yes, depending on where you live, where you shop, where you buy your food, you don't have any shortages, any empty shelves. Maybe you have the ability to buy eggs for $1.99 for 5 dozen, and you have no proof of this. But the point is that the writing is on the wall. A large portion of the world's food, or our food, but also the world's food, comes from outside of the United States. Those imports we aren't receiving like we used to. What we need to produce the foods here, we aren't receiving like we used to. And much like the diesel fuel being shipped out of the country, exported out of the country by, the Democratic Party to other countries, now you have states signing into legislation and patting themselves on the back for incentivizing more of our food production that is already down to be exported to another country.
So here's my question. Why is it so easy for us to export all of our stuff out, but so incredibly hard right now for us to import anything in? It's not like the water only goes one way, boats only go one way. So why are we doing so much to export if other countries aren't doing enough to help us import?
Honestly, it comes down to money. Because in order to import, there are fees, taxes, tariffs, charges. It's insurmountable. In addition to whatever does make it through that grueling and expensive process, we lack the labor to process these shipments at the ports.
No. We don't lack the labor. We lack the people willing to hire the labor. We don't lack the labor.
Yeah, no, you're right. And then on the flip side, we're still talking about money. It's more profitable for the U.S. to export to other countries.
It's more profitable for the U.S. to let its own citizens go hungry and homeless than it is to take care of them.
I apologize for taking sips of my morning coffee here, but...
And irritating your wife in the morning first thing with this.
I didn't mean to do that, but just, honestly, half the things that go on in this country are rather irritating.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for things to come in because of the impeccable amount of hurdles that are created to be jumped.
I was about to say, make sure you use the word created. They're not naturally there. They are creating extra hurdles every single day.
And it's easy to export it because it's about that money. Whether it's about the money that you see or some backroom deal that you'll never know about that, greases a palm, lines a pocket for somebody's cause, for somebody's, maybe it wouldn't be classified as lobbying, but at the end of the day, the people, the politicians, the lawmakers are getting what they want by not those people, not the people, those people. And that's why it's difficult. That's why it's so easy for them to screw us over and ship everything we have out, have nothing come in.
Because they get to cherry pick what they want before anything else happens.
They're gonna fire up their G5s, their G6s. They're gonna fly off to this World Economic Forum in some, lavish country. Mm-hmm. No problem.
Taxpayers are gonna pay for it.
Hey. It's like...
Can't afford food on my table, but I'm glad I got you that seat on that plane into Sweden.
Well, just imagine if there was a food shortage, a massive food shortage, which has already been predicted for America, a massive food shortage, right? And then all of a sudden you see tons of politicians in other countries for summits and negotiations and talks. Why are they over there? Why are they over there? To get the food.
To get the food and to have fun. I mean, in all honesty, to have fun.
Oh, on our dime.
Country stays in other countries.
Yeah, fun on our dime.
Yeah.
Because who was it? I think it was Hunter Biden and his unbelievably expensive safe house resort.
Yeah.
That we were paying for.
Yeah.
And that's where our money goes. That's where our tax dollars go.
Well, you got to think every time the president decides he wants some ice cream and flies off to where is he from? Delaware. Every time he flies off to Delaware, that's money that is spent just that we spend just for him to go get ice cream. It's like a couple $100,000 so he can go get a freaking cone of ice cream in his home state because of all the security and everything else that you have to do.
Yeah, it's crazy. But this is just a little bit of a heads up. Like I said, if I got any Michigan viewers, please comment. If you heard about this, know about this, please share your insight. And for everyone else, please pay attention. It may not just be 100% isolated to the red states or the blue states, but please pay attention, because if it's happening in one state, it's probably going to start happening in others.
Trickle effect.
Especially those that are heavy in agriculture that we've seen here driving through Texas.
Oh man, driving through
Texas was like
driving through Texas was the coolest, weirdest, craziest thing I've ever seen, because we when we're driving here, we're not taking the freeway. We want to see what they don't show you. We want to see where things are actually happening. We want to see the towns that nobody talks about, that don't get the travelers because they're not on the main freeway, right? If you're on the main interstate, you're like, oh look, it's great, there's a Kohl's and a Target and a whatever else, but you go an hour off the interstate and it's like there's one gas station and dilapidated houses everywhere. That's where I want to go. I want to see what actual America looks like, not the front that we put on for the people traveling through it.
And then it's really interesting in these areas where small grocery stores, that these are not national brand grocery stores,
Never heard of
and
these.
I'm looking at them like, if we have a serious food supply issue, they're going to be the ones hit first. They're going to be the ones hit first, depending on where they get their food from. If they're getting them from like Cisco or I think it's a PFG, Performance Food Group,
Yeah.
but maybe not.
But you got to think, those stores, the smaller areas that we're driving through, that you think to yourself, how do people here live? Because there doesn't look like there's any businesses, anything happening. They all probably work on the farms that are all around, because we passed so many cattle farms. Y'all, we passed literally, I would say, tens of thousands of cows. Cattle farms, like the ones where they're all herded and gated and, ready to stamp and cut up. But then we also passed a lot of fields where they were free roam cows. So your green, your healthier.
That was coming into Dumas, Texas.
Yeah.
I think it was like
152.
Whitmer or Whitfield or something.
I made notes.
Of the one of the
I'm so proud of myself.
One of the slaughterhouses that we passed.
So we passed Red River Dairy. They had a ton of cows. So Red River Dairy was on, I think, 152 in Texas, and it was massive. And the whole front was like bales of hay, like huge things of hay. And then I kept seeing mounds of stuff with white over it and tires on top of it. And I'm trying to figure out what was underneath the white, and the tires were holding the white cover down. So what was underneath? Maybe it was grain, but I don't know what that was. But they had a ton of cows in the back. And then Tejas, Tejas
Tejas?
East, sure, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of cattle outside. Like, I couldn't pull my phone out in enough time to record and take pictures, because I was really enthralled by what I was seeing. It was like, they are just so pinned up. There's no movement, and it's the weirdest looking thing. And then Wheeler was the other one.
Wheeler.
Yeah.
And we also passed the Phillips 66. One of Phillips 66's oil refineries. But maybe these smaller towns, maybe if we do see widespread issues, maybe these smaller towns don't have to worry, because they are locally
That's what I was going to say.
sourced.
It's the processed things that they're going to see the shortages on first, the canned goods, the boxes of crackers, the cereals, the things like that. But given where they are, there should be, in theory, plenty of meats and fruits and vegetables and things to go around if it came down to it, and these, suppliers in the area were nice enough or willing to sell to the smaller stores.
And I also think that the communities here, I bet you, when shit hits the fan,
They stick together.
Yeah. But they don't run out and bulk buy.
No.
I bet you.
money they don't.
Yeah.
I bet money they don't, because a lot of people in areas like that are already on eat as little or do as little as you can with what you have, kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like they don't need the government and some crazy organization pushing them to reduce their carbon footprint.
I don't see any signs on the stores that we're going by that say EBT. Whereas if you walk into an Atlanta store or anywhere in Florida where there's high traffic and lots of people, it tells you right out front, we accept EBT, we accept SNAP. I don't see that in these smaller areas.
These are smaller towns. These are theoretically lower income. It seems like it, but driving through brand new Tundras, brand new
And
Silverados.
buildings that look like if you breathed on them wrong, they would crumple.
Yeah, but then some of the houses on the farms are like immaculate.
Immaculate.
So it's real. I don't know the area. I don't know the demographic. I don't know the economics of this area or the area we were in, because now we're completely different. Completely different, which is kind of cool because
Driving into New Mexico was.
I woke up and there was hot air
Stunning.
balloons
Oh yeah.
up in the sky, and that was pretty cool. But it's interesting to see. And if anybody watching lives in these types of areas, please comment so that the rest of us can get a better understanding. No lie, I'm looking at this. I'm like, Florida's cool, but I
This
don't
is
know.
pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, I may be moving to the West Coast.
So
Not West Coast, but like
yeah, in the middle. So this is not my channel, but I'm going to put this out here anyway, just because we're talking. I have had comments on my channel. Oh, you didn't know that this was America? Well, shit, Sherlock. Like, yeah, I know that this is America, but I haven't seen it. A lot of people have not seen what they hear about, and that's the whole point behind what we're doing. Honestly, is to show you guys what you're not shown and to tell you guys what you're not told. And so when I'm driving through and I'm like, oh wow, I did not realize this was this. It's not that I'm, had my eyes and ears closed or I'm stupid. It's that I have not seen it for myself. So I take everything I hear with a grain of salt. And until I can physically see it myself or find a way to figure it out on my own, I don't 100% take it for face value. And neither should you guys, honestly, when it comes to anything ever. But
and this is still a small sample. Just
Yeah.
what we see, the people we talk to,
Yeah.
it's still a small sample. This isn't like collective, like everybody. Because like
No.
even if we were to take a small sample from where we lived,
Mm-hmm.
it's not accurate for Georgia.
No.
If we would take a small sample from where we lived in Georgia, it's not accurate for the entire state.
But the whole point is we're going to the places that they're not showing people. That's what I wanted to see. We're not going to the places where they're like, well, there's no shortages here. Look how many people are here. We don't want to go to those places. I want to go to the places that aren't puffed up, to make everything look good and to make everything look hunky-dory in the country. You know what I mean? I want to go to the places that are real and nobody talks about because they're not your tourist destination.
These places out here, from my perspective, just driving through yesterday before it got dark. It got dark pretty early, but it was kind of storming, so
Yeah.
that's why it got dark early. But driving into New Mexico from Texas, heads up, it's dark.
Oh yeah.
Like there's no lights, there's no reflectors,
Nothing.
and it's like
It's just flat
yeah.
land, which was the coolest thing. Like I wish it had not been cloudy, because as the sun was going down, like I could tell it was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it was.
And there's a
so
volcano
pretty.
out here.
And there's a volcano out
I
here.
didn't know there's a
Who knew
volcano
There's a
out here.
volcano out here. I have no idea.
But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that as I'm driving through, I'm looking and I'm just making this assessment, my own assessment, and it seems to me that the people out here in these types of areas don't need to prep.
Because they have not come to rely on the things that we've come to rely on.
Right, because they've always been preparing. Like they
Have to, because of where they are. Because
Yeah.
if you're in the middle of nowhere, what we consider nowhere, if you're in the middle of areas that
If
don't
you're-
have anything for miles and miles
Yeah.
and miles, you already have it ingrained in you to have enough on hand until the next time you can go, which could be a month, 2, 3.
and know how to survive in between, a crazy storm.
Storms,
Like
yeah.
if a crazy storm were to come through, there's no way you could really get out in time unless you're just like, hey, it's coming, it's possible, and then you have to leave your farm weeks in advance because of a possibility, which isn't really feasible. And just in the event of an accident, an injury, there's no hospital, there's
No,
no
there's no
ambulance,
ambulance
there's
that
no
gets you in
fire department that would reach you in time. And the people, it seems to me that the people out here have it so much better
Oh, yeah.
than
They've
everyone
figured out how
else
to be self-sustainable.
because they know how to survive.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do
Yeah.
day to day, and they don't have to get ready.
Whereas most of us are pampered and we don't even realize it. You don't realize that you don't know anything until you realize, oh shit, I don't know anything.
Yeah, but I still do think that the people out here, they still have to include the financial aspect and component in their lives, because to operate on the level at which they operate is not cheap. A 3500 or F450 truck, that's $100,000. These trailers, the tractor equipment,
The feed for the cattle or the horses or goats or whatever it is that you've got, because a lot of them have some sort of animal or they're growing something. You still have to have the money to do all of that too.
I bet you if you were to roll up on one of these farms and talk to any of the owners and operators of these farms, I bet you they are the most well prepared and probably the most financially savvy people around.
Yeah.
That like no one knows it. Like
Yeah.
some people know about, but in general, the masses, the channels that you'll see promoting on YouTube talking about how to make $50,000 in a week, and quick side hustles, and fast cash. The folks out here, they got it down.
Yeah.
And shit hits the fan, ain't nobody gonna come rolling up on them.
Mm-hmm.
One, you out in the middle of nowhere, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna hear that shotgun. And then number two, they know each other.
Yeah.
And everybody here is like probably similar on the same level.
Yeah.
And more than likely they're gonna roll up on, if they roll up on you, they're gonna knock, you're gonna hear a knock on the door. Hey, y'all need any help? Y'all okay? Not trying to come get your
Yeah. You know what's funny? People in okay, I'll just put it like this. Me, with it probably like a year ago, 2 years ago, before I really started paying attention to everything, would have looked at areas like this and been like, oh man, this really sucks for them. Like, I feel bad for them. They don't have, a movie theater, and they don't have a Starbucks. I know how much you guys love Starbucks. And they don't have this, this, and this. And now I look at them and go, man, these guys are so lucky. They don't have to, spend their time trying to find mundane things to do, like go to the movie theater or go to the Starbucks. You know what I mean? Like,
they also don't have crazy high gas prices.
There's that
Like they
too.
have, relatively in line with the norm. But then you look at California and New York and certain parts of the country that they're just like they're bending people over, taking advantage of them.
Oh, yeah.
And then out here, the volume's not going to be as high. And then the distances you have to travel to deliver the fuel are going to be longer, yet the prices here are normalized. We rolled into New Mexico, and there's a really nice gas station.
really nice gas station.
I don't remember the name of it. It was the
I think
first.
it was a Conoco?
It's the
Conoco?
first one that you roll up on when you get into New Mexico from Texas, and it was really bright,
Chester.
clean, well lit. And they had a specific area for RVs. They had a specific area for cars. They had a specific area for semis.
Never seen that.
And I think their diesel was like,
5.57. No, 5. No, that one. Hold on. That one was 5.49 for diesel.
no, it was. I think it was a little cheaper. And then the next one was $5.49. The Loves was $5.49.
So it
But
was 5.44. You're right, because there was like a 5 cent difference.
it was a little cheaper, but it was like super nice. And, for the area, it's like the first one you roll up on when you enter in the state. So you would think after this long stretch, they're going to hit you over the head with like $6, $6.50 or whatever,
Yeah.
because they know they got you. No.
But the fact that they literally had, it was well lit, number one, but it literally said RV on this whole section, and then it was regular cars, and it said semi trucks over here. It was the coolest thing. Like, it was sectioned out so that everybody could get to where they needed to go. They had diesel pumps at every single thing, so you didn't have to sit there and wait forever and a day. It was just really neat. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But hey, guys, we're not going to keep you too long.
Sorry.
Thank you for watching. We really do appreciate it. Hope everybody's having a safe and enjoyable holiday weekend.
Today the 3rd?
Today's the 3rd. I said that in the beginning of the video.
You did. That's how much I pay attention.
And we're going to continue on this trip and try to bring you some more information, hopefully some helpful information. And if there's anything you want us to check on while we're out and about, comment below, shoot an email. We got a lot of emails to go through.
A lot.
I was driving for like 8 hours yesterday, so I didn't get the chance to get to my emails, but we will be stopping in the next day or two, and actually like kind of like having like a few days off the road. So I'll make sure to get through those as best I can.
Oh yeah, I have to do an update video. I got some emails. There's some updates I need to put out about the identity theft incident and other things. So I'll have one of those coming out pretty soon.
Oh, yeah. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Kevin, Preparing for Survival's husband, out.